hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
So if you have talent and you're not working hard, you're a bozo.
But
hey. Welcome back, you guys. I have a special guest, the guest.
My
husband. IFBB Pro. Matthew
Hackett. That's right. Thanks for having me. I live here, so.
Today, we're doing a Q&A, and it's all like bodybuilding questions, a little bit of personal questions here. I did an Instagram question box, and these are all the questions that came in. We have a good amount, so we'll get through as many as we can. And honestly, when it comes to bodybuilding, he's not usually a yapper, but when it comes to bodybuilding,
yeah, I could talk.
He could talk, and so can I. So I feel like it'll be really good.
Bet.
Let's start off strong. How do you feel about your bodybuilding journey so far?
Yeah. Are you asking me or you want to go first?
I'm asking you, but now I'm thinking about how I feel about your bodybuilding journey so far.
How you feel about mine?
Yeah.
Well,
Can I just say something?
Sure.
He is undefeated. He got his pro card in the span of what? 9 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Same as you.
Yes, but still. And he won his class at his first regional show, and then he won the overall at his regional show, and then he goes to nationals.
Terrible too.
Yeah. And then he goes to nationals, and he wins his class, and then he wins the overall. So he's going into his first pro season undefeated.
Not knowing. Bitter taste of defeat.
Oof.
But
I know it well.
Do we want to talk about yours right now? I can.
No, I was asking you. We're not supposed to talk about each other's. I just wanted to put that.
Because your journey is very interesting, and it's very, I would say, character building, but it's also very interesting, your journey, and it's very powerful in itself. But with my journey,
well, now I want to hear about it.
But with my journey though, I've always been a huge fan of bodybuilding. So when I finally decided to step into it after watching you, it was just a freaking dream come true because I was holding on to an old version of myself, still boxing, undecided if I wanted to turn pro and go that route. But bodybuilding, I've just had so much fun. Like every time I'm backstage on the lineup, like I just pray and I just say, thank you, God, for allowing me to do this because I love this so much. Thank you, Lord. And honestly, I think that manifests on stage because I'm not holding any water. I'm not stressed or my cortisol is low, So my bodybuilding journey has been fun. Getting ready for my pro debut. The body is looking great. And I do think that there's a good chance that I will come out on top again. I do believe that.
You gotta 100%. Believe. You have to believe that. I don't know of any bodybuilder that would go into a show and be like, I'm gonna lose.
But you know what? But you want to know something? People do that, especially at the Olympia. But still, I don't care like what show you're doing. You never want to have that mindset. Oh, I just want to make top 10.
Like
I just want to make
yourself.
Yeah. Like that really frustrates me.
I get that.
And anyway, but
you could say like they're being like a realist maybe, but it's you should also bet on yourself.
But at the same time, that's going to affect your training because if you're just aiming for a certain placing or you're just happy to be there, that's not going to push you in order to beat number one. You're just training to look good at that point, But anyway.
To each their own.
Yeah, I started to go off there. But, in terms of your journey, my opinion, I feel like your journey is inspiring. I think, again, I said before, it's character building. But, and I'm sure you're going to get into it more. But seeing you prep and hold on to it and not shut it down, even though maybe it would have been a good idea to shut it down a little bit.
My pro season. First pro season.
Yeah, your rookie season, shut it down and then get back on it. But you stayed through the whole time. And you stayed locked in that whole year. And seeing you do that is very inspiring because I've seen so many people Even this year already, someone has done 2 shows in a matter of 30 days, and then now their season is done.
Maybe they'll come back in a few
No,
months.
no, no. They're done for the year. Like, they're done. But you competed all the way from March through November. So you never really bounced back, and you never left that mental space. So, I just feel like your whole journey has been inspiring, to say the least.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, that was a long year. But we got married in that year too. So it was a good year. It was like I felt like, especially as a rookie, I just wanted to kind of go all in. Why not? And it went well. I feel like I had a sick rookie season. I learned a lot. And we've talked about this before, but like, since we both went pro very quickly, we didn't have any amateur time to like make mistakes.
Learn that mistakes, yeah.
So like I made stupid mistakes such as like not angling off correctly or just not having like stage awareness, knowing who you're posing right next to, or just like I said, angling off to the judges, and just silly stuff that in an amateur with like more rounds under your belt you would know. Like now I know going into my second year, because now I've done 6 shows, so that's cool. But how I feel about my bodybuilding journey so far, man, when I tell you, it's just been like a deep cellular transformation. Going from when I first decided to start bodybuilding up until now. When I first started, I just felt like this is the hardest thing ever, and I'm definitely not doing it ever again, but cool, like, this is the leanest I've ever been. It was the longest I ever went without drinking alcohol. Like, I used to like to go out and like drink and be social, and now I'm just like, now that I've had time away from things like that, like, I genuinely don't like that, and I love bodybuilding. I love the lifestyle. I love eating like this. I love nourishing my body and always having something to like chase after and goals to seek. So yeah, it's been just metamorphic for me. Bodybuilding has, and my mindset and mentality with bodybuilding has changed a lot over. This is my 4th year. 2022 is when I started.
Yeah, you started 22, 2023 you bulked, and then last year we...
Yeah. How do you have such good body image in each phase? So bulking, cutting, like what's your outlook on your body image? And this is interesting too because maybe men don't even think about their body image.
Well, they definitely do, like I know I know someone who wouldn't take off their shirt off because they were in off season.
I get that.
They were so like, yeah.
So how do you feel your body image is in like your bulking phase versus like season?
Well, it's about how I view my bulking phase, right? I view it as an opportunity to improve. So I don't know. I just know that it's a part of the game. It's necessary. You can't stay lean year round. It's, and expect to build. I think it's just something I got to do. I don't really overthink the bulk. I don't get insecure about it. I mean, I pose less. For sure, but I enjoy
Get
this.
a little out of breath.
But the thing is, I also do cardio during my bulk phase because I want to limit how much fat I gain. So I do still have abs even when I'm, 25 pounds above stage weight, 30 pounds.
I don't.
But that's why cardio is important.
Yeah, I think it's definitely different for men and women. I can 100% see what you're saying, and I feel very similar when you talk about like this is just what's necessary to be able to be in peak physique eventually. You can't stay lean year round, and you're ultimately doing yourself a disservice if you're so obsessed with just like being lean.
Yeah.
Because you have to eat, and you have to, yeah. So, but what I will say is my mom raised me because I have always been chunky. Like growing up, I've always had like big legs and just like a more thick body. Like I've never been small and dainty. Let's just put it that way. So I definitely got made fun of when I was younger. I was bullied for like boy legs and like being fat. So my mom instilled in my mind that she was like, you know, you need to eat to be fast and strong for soccer. So I was like, you're right. So I never really cared like being thick, and I actually prefer that physique, as you know. But I guess, what is it? My mentality? Oh, body image. Yeah, I think that kind of answers it. Like having confidence in each phase where it's like, dude,
Yeah, it
it's
comes
just
with
me.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, this is a good one. How do you feel about modesty and bodybuilding?
So the thing about me, I look at bodybuilding extremely objective. I don't look at it from a lustful perspective, lustful lenses. I look at it like if I see a woman doing a back pose, I see glute.
Dude, this
I
is
s-
exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
You're in my brain.
All right, but if I see a woman in a back pose, I see glute, ham tie, leg quad sweep, calves or no calves. I see that. I don't let thoughts
That butt.
like dang man, what? Like I gotta have that. You know what I mean? Like I don't look at it like that, you know. So that's something that I've kind of wrestled with because like, you know, there are creeps who want to see you on stage and you know, who aren't going to have the same mindset that I have or approach to it as I have. You know, I see guys in the audience freaking taking pictures, you know, freaking on their phone, and you know, but that's going to happen. You know, can't get away with it. But ultimately, I don't think it's modest at all. I don't think it's modest at all.
I agree. I'm super desensitized also by the physique. Like, it's just a physique to me. I'm not thinking about like anyone's body in a sexual way. So that's that part of that. But and yeah, I was literally thinking like I'll pause it. Dang, look at her glutes, and it's just like I don't care, you know. But is bodybuilding modest? No. Like, how could it be modest when you're in a bikini? I also feel like you're called to certain things, and your spirit speaks different things. And I think that if I felt like I needed to give it up because of that, I would.
Yeah, same. As much as I love it, if the moment I feel like God calls me away from bodybuilding, I'll step away.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because you know how much I love it.
I love
you
it.
know, and yeah.
What are underrated things people should do in their fitness journey or on their fitness journey?
Underrated, I think you should
Ooh, I know.
weigh out your food. I think you should weigh your food because it is very easy to overeat and even undereat. So I would say weigh your food for one.
That's a good one. I thought of sleep.
Yeah. Sleep is very underrated.
Sleep. Like, if you aren't sleeping 8 hours,
Yeah,
well,
minimum.
everyone's different, but like, you have to sleep in order to recover, in order to grow muscle, for hormone balance. Like, you need to sleep.
I got another one. Rest days. So take your rest days serious. However, if you were like me and you struggle having rest days on your split, you need to switch the narrative. So for me, I train 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, and I used to hate those rest days. But now I flipped my mindset where I earn my rest days, meaning I train so hard during the first 3 days, I actually look forward to my rest days.
Totally.
That's how hard I go so I can earn my rest day and actually receive even more benefits for it.
You brought me my next point. body work.
Yeah.
So underrated.
That
Like
is underrated,
scraping,
yeah.
cupping. Well, we feel like indifferent about cupping. You want
Yeah.
to show them the tool?
Hey, shoot.
You
I'm
just
about
got
to
a
get
new
on
like
it. Yeah.
heated scrape tool, deep tissue, even lymphatic drainage, stretching, of course.
Yeah.
All of that helps blood flow. And if you think about it, if you have, so what you're doing when you do body work is like fascial manipulation. And if you have less adhesion in your muscle, you might have better blood flow, in my opinion. So,
And it brings out more detail, you
Yeah.
know. And
And
it'll make
flush more.
it'll make your pumps better too. As well.
detox.
Another one is maybe last one. Will be hydrating during or prior to your workouts. So I was actually going to post this on Instagram. If you're feeling zero pump in your workouts, it's either you didn't eat enough or you're not hydrated. Remember, a pump is literally just blood flow rush to that muscle that you're working. And if you're dehydrated and you don't have any blood circulating, you're not going to get a pump. So hydrate, either drink some electrolytes, EAAs, or just keep pounding down some water, and then your pump should come alive.
Yeah, it's a good one. Even it like when you're in a cut and you don't have enough food, drink your water.
Yeah, and that'll help with your hunger too.
Oh yeah, for sure. What advice would you give to first-time bodybuilders? Document everything. Take photos. Like if you feel fat, take a photo because
Fair
that's going to
enough,
be
yeah.
a dope transformation. The best thing that you can have, in my opinion, when it comes to like preps is data. And data is accrued through preps and like doing it.
That's a
and so
good
you
one.
get to understand what your body likes, how like after a refeed, let's say, and it was mostly rice this time. How was the digestion? How did
lose
the
weight?
pump look? Yeah, like what was your nighttime weight versus your morning weight? Like maybe rice didn't pump you very well, and then the next refeed maybe you try like more sweet potato based, or like how do foods feel in your body? How does this training split feel? Like my first prep, I did a 9-day carb cycle. I really liked that. I peaked with steak and olive oil for nationals. I really liked that. And like I've done other things that maybe didn't work as well, but that's all data. And those are things that I know about like myself. And so keeping a journal or just keeping it in the notes of your phone is like a super great idea.
Okay. All right, that's a very good one, Data. For me, this one might be controversial. I don't know how others would view it, but it's very so bodybuilding it's one of those industries where it's very easy to compare yourself to others. So my advice, if you're a first-time bodybuilder, you're stepping on an amateur stage, I would say compare yourself to the pro level competition. Meaning, now this is what I mean, because this can get a little watery. I know. But here's my point. So when I first started to bodybuild, I was training as if I was competing against Aaron Banks. I was training to beat Aaron Banks, Brandon Hendrickson, Ryan Terry at my first show. And I was expecting that level of competition to show up to my first competition.
Okay.
So when I was training, I was thinking like these guys are going to be amazing. They're going to be great, shredded, full. I have to show up ready. And when I showed up to Samson, I'm not going to lie. I was a little disappointed. I was just like, are you kidding me? You know, and,
what were you guys doing the past?
you know, and again, I won the overall in that show. But whatever you can find your why, whatever pushes you, whatever can get you going every day consistently, find that why and really freaking just hold on to it. Move with gratitude. I know I'm moving on to several.
These are bangers. Keep going.
Yeah, you know, but moving with gratitude is going to keep you mentally at peace. You know, when food's getting taken away and you're getting really hungry and you have to continue training and you're getting really tired, but when you're grateful for what you're doing because you love it or because you're finally being able to do it, it's just going to make the process that much more doable. But yeah, I would say, expect the absolute best competition to show up. As most likely the competition that's going to be there, it's not going to be that high of a level unless you're in a huge bodybuilding town or something. But if you can expect the best, the 1%ers to be there, let that fuel you because you don't want to show up looking like you don't belong.
I would be on the opposite side of that controversial opinion. I think it's also just I don't know. I don't want to say like a male's mindset versus a woman's mindset, but
to each their own.
I don't suggest comparing on like social media.
I know that's why I was iffy on saying it that way because I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying compare yourself in that way.
I get like you're saying compared to pros that like they're clearly not going to be at your show, but like you are expecting
to compete.
So you it pushes you. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It pushes the standard.
I guess
of
in
your
order
training
to
and your prep.
In order to like not compare yourself, I think that you have to trust and believe in your 100%. And if your 100% can beat everyone, then like that's enough for me. Like for me, I don't think it's a good thing to compare because honestly, so many reasons. People on Instagram do not look the same as they will look on stage.
That is very true.
But you're also comparing to like pros that we see on stage, so it's different. So don't compare yourself to people that you see on Instagram because they could be on X, Y, and Z during their prep and then they don't peak right. Mm-hmm. Also, this takes away from the beauty and that like metamorphosis that you can go into during your prep because every day you're just like pushing yourself to your 100%. And if you're always worried about somebody else's grass, like you're gonna be really upset and it's just not gonna be stemming from that love for what you're doing. I'm not coming for you.
No, I get it. And I want to touch on something you said.
Okay, let me finish.
So go ahead.
Okay,
yeah.
So then beyond that, like I said, you don't know how people are going to peak. Also, nobody is you. Like, the judges are looking at you, your symmetry, what you bring, your aura, your stage presence, how everything flows together. So if you are chasing what somebody else has, like maybe the way that this person poses just because you like the way that they look or something. Now, it's different if it's a pro that favors your symmetry, but what somebody else has going on might not look good on you. So just do you and be you so that the judges can really judge you and your symmetry might be like banging. So I'm never the biggest person on stage, but I like my symmetry and I mess with my symmetry. And if I was so worried about like, oh, she's going to be like so much bigger than me, I would just never compete because everyone's going to be bigger than me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a giant. So, that's why I would say don't compare on Instagram. Like comparing to pro, like what you're saying is
I know exactly what you mean. And I totally agree because I've known people who've actually gotten discouraged and depressed because they are comparing themselves, right? So that's definitely one part of it. And that part I'm not actually trying to convey.
You're not.
I'm trying from a competitive aspect, from a competitive nature, if you're expecting this level of competition to show up, that's going to drive you to train in order to achieve that level of standard.
We're saying two different things. Like both are true.
I think so. But I just want to convey that to the viewer that, when you are...
The viewer.
Well, yes. But when you are holding yourself to a higher standard, right, you never know that. Because you may hold yourself to a higher standard like here, Okay, I'm always trying to be that top 1% of the 1%. And that's your standard. And you'll be very surprised that people's standards are actually very low. Because when you're training hard and you're getting after it every single day, you're expecting others to be doing the same thing, you know? And anyway, that's just how I feel. I don't want to get off on it.
We could honestly go on, but those are really good things to give to a first-time bodybuilder.
Yeah, for sure.
What's something your followers probably don't know about you because you don't post it on social media? We honestly don't post a lot of stuff on social media. Like,
Yeah, very private.
we're both freaking weird. Like, but we don't post that on social media just because, like, I don't know. I often, when I'm feeling weird and just like fun, I'm not filming it, you know? I guess one thing is I am very introverted, but if you meet me, I really push myself to like speak to people and like, you know, so I might come across as extroverted, but I'm actually really introverted. So are you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know how to be extra. You gotta know how
You're
to
good at
like.
it.
Yeah.
You're really good at it.
Faking it, man. Fake it till you make it. I don't know. Maybe that I'm still a in-person coach. You know, no one really knows that.
I know one for you.
Wait, oh man, what are you gonna say?
I don't think that you hide it, is that you watch anime.
Oh,
You like really love anime.
I don't love it like that. Anime sucks nowadays.
Okay, old anime,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
What brought you here, training age, and obstacles along the way? Well,
What brought you here?
we
Training
both
age?
played college sports, and we both started playing sports when we were really young. So we've been training our whole lives.
Yeah, literally. I've been training. So I would say working out. You know, I started working out at like 13, 14. Pumping actually. So my dad actually had weights in the garage. So I was actually hitting those when I was like even 11, 12, 13. But didn't start actually hitting the gym and start benching till like consistent. I take that back. When I was 13 or 12, in my middle school, there was a gym inside the courts, basketball courts, and I asked my coach if I could work out in the gym prior to every practice after school. And because again, I loved bodybuilding, I was introduced. So when I found out that there was a gym in the at the school, I was like, I gotta hit the gym because I've been motivated and inspired by Ronnie Coleman. So 13 all the way till now being 30, going on 31. So training for a long time.
Yeah, I've been training forever. I don't know. So my dad is a personal trainer. So I like grew up in the gym, but I've played sports like boxing, soccer, all of the sports when I was really young, but I don't really recall the first time I picked up a weight necessarily. Because I would do, I guess, like you would say, functional training for sport. And then it became, in high school, we started to train. And my dad wanted me, he knew that like the supervision wasn't really good in high school. So he wanted me to really know and understand how, like the basics of training. And he believes in like always having a coach, and he didn't want to coach me in lifting, so he got me a coach. And I think I was like 13 when I got a coach, and his name is Moji. Shout out Moji. He is a natural professional bodybuilder, but in a different, like a natural league, and he's still bodybuilding. And I don't want to say how old he is because like I don't necessarily know, but I think, I don't want to get it wrong, but he's
60 plus.
Yes, he's been bodybuilding for a minute. And yeah, we understood that to get faster and stronger for sport, we needed to learn how to power clean. He taught me how to snatch. He taught me a bunch of stuff. So that was probably like the first time I started training for real. And then yeah, we lifted in high school and then took it up a notch in college. What was your judges' feedback after your show?
I don't know for my first show. I didn't stay around. But I can already tell what my feedback would have been because I looked like crap. But for nationals, Tyler Mannion told me to not hit the Superman pose from the front. But also, he said that I have enough size, my shape is good. I could just improve a little bit on the upper chest, which I did. Get a little bit wider in the lower lats, which I did. So, and I didn't let anything grow out of proportion. So, Sandy, Steve, Tyler, all three, very similar. Hey, your physique is great. Your balance is great. Not much needs to be fixed. Just get a little bit wider in the lats, a little bit more upper chest, which is everyone's feedback for men's physique.
And more conditioned.
Yeah.
For the pro league.
Yeah. The conditioning for sure. For national level, it was good, but for the pro level,
get a little peeled.
Yeah, it has to be like an onion. So
totally like an onion.
Yeah.
So for my best placing, maybe I should. I feel like most people watching are amateur. So from my nationals show, it was to overall increase everything. Like I needed bigger lower body. I came in very peeled for nationals. So conditioning was great, but needed overall bigger quads, glutes, hamstrings. And then my best placing last year was second place. And they told me that I just needed a touch more conditioning in the back. My glute ham ties just needed to be a little bit bigger. So, and then Tyler Mannion told me for Ben Wieters that in the side pose, I didn't have abdominal control. And that's a whole other story. My peak for that show sucked, and I was completely like dehydrated and cramping on stage. So that's why that was going on. But I also think I looked kind of watery for that show because of the peak. So yeah, but overall in wellness, most likely you're going to get feedback that says bigger lower body. We want to see the glute ham ties, and then they want to see like that snatched waist and a smaller upper body. Like, don't be bringing in these huge biceps and triceps to wellness.
But yeah, you know what? That's the thing about getting feedback sometimes, is that sometimes it could just be so generic, they'll just say stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think genetics override hard work?
Wow. This is something I talk about, actually.
What do you say? It's like
So-
genetics versus
So it's shape versus structure.
structure.
Yeah. So genetics, just so I can break it down for you.
Strap your boots.
This is what genetics is in a nutshell. Genetics are your muscle insertions, right? So for example, my bicep is a short head. This is my muscle insertion, meaning this bicep will never outgrow its length. It will just be this shape, just larger. It will never be connected to my elbow. Now, if you had an insertion from shoulder to elbow, that's a longer muscle insertion. That's genetic, okay? So, and your waist, that's genetic. The length of your limbs, that's genetic. And your muscle bellies, how swole it can get, that's genetics, okay? Which is very advantageous if you have that. Clavicle to clavicle, how wide your shoulders are, that's genetics, okay? Now, structure is strictly your training, meaning can you train your physique in a way that fits the criteria that you are in that will give you the advantage. So, for an example, I've showed you Flex Wheeler and Dorian Yates, or even Sean Ray. So Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, these two guys from the 90s had the most beautiful symmetrical physiques, right? They had the best shape, right? They had the muscle fullness, the conditioning, which can also be genetics, but that's just kind of work ethic. But symmetry, muscle fullness, and insertions, right? So how long it is, whatever. But then they were getting whooped by a guy named Dorian Yates, who did not have their symmetry, who did not have their shape, right? What he did have was a bunch of muscle. And his conditioning was out of this world. So his work ethic gave him the wow factor. So that's all work ethic and training. So even though your shape is phenomenal, that's not going to actually guarantee you a win, because a criteria is a criteria, right? So you may naturally have wide shoulders for men's physique, wide shoulders and wide lats and a small waist, but the person who has rounded delts, a full chest, full lats, and if he structures his physique in a way, he might end up getting the win. So to be honest, when it comes down to training versus genetics, I would have to say training, because you could train yourself and even pose yourself into that number one spot over someone who has genetics. Genetics can get you to the top, but not necessarily keep you there, because someone can work harder than you and overcome their structure.
Yeah, ideally you have both. You
gotta have
like, not to toot our horn, but like, we both are genetically blessed and we both work hard. So,
you don't even know.
yeah, but I'm gonna go with genetics, because like, if I had to choose genetics or hard work,
I mean, yeah, you don't want to have a wide waist, right? Like,
you can't outwork genetics. Like, if somebody's really like genetically blessed,
yeah, you can. Well, actually, maybe for women,
let me
it's
put
a
it
little.
this way. Let me put it this way. You can't teach genetics. So
Yeah.
that,
Are you saying would you rather have either or?
I don't know. It says,
Because then my answer would change.
do you think genetics override hard work?
No.
And I do.
No.
I do. Because, hard work is going to take a longer timeline, okay? Like, the hard work can be there, but if somebody is at the same starting point and this person has really great genetics and this person has really hard work, this person,
yeah, they're going to be elevated.
They'll do better. But ideally, you have both. That's hard.
But remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
So if you have talent and you're not working hard, you're a bozo.
But I'm not going to say names, but that's the exact reason why Dorian.
Exactly.
That's the exact reason why Dorian was beating these guys, because they were depending on their look, their shape, and wasn't putting in the same work ethic that he was. But
it's hard. It's a hard question.
To each their own.
People gave me really good questions. Something that all bodybuilders do that set them apart from others.
So you actually asked me a question earlier this year after my national show. You asked me, did I work harder than everyone else that showed up? Okay. So I got the overall. So I definitely could say, oh, I worked harder than everyone. I beat everyone, right? But I'm not going to be arrogant and say that, they weren't working hard or they just weren't at my level. However, I do believe that my standard was set extremely high. Now, in terms of setting yourself apart, I think it can either come down to a few ways. It can come down to your training, meaning how connected are you to the muscle? How strong is your contraction, the peak of the contraction. Those little things can set you apart. But now for me, I think what set me apart was my mindset. So it wasn't just about winning. It was whenever I would train, I would see myself hitting the pose on stage. And then in the real moment where I feel like I set myself apart was the in between the sets. Like, after you finish a set and then there's that moment before you hit your second set, within that moment right there, mentally, I'm somewhere else. Like, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like
Your flow stating.
most likely that's the right answer. But that right there where I'm staying in the muscle, I don't let my body cool down. I don't check my phone. I don't talk to anyone. I'm not evil looking or a jerk to anyone, but I'm so focused and I'm so attentive with my training and what I'm doing and the purpose of which I'm doing it, because I'm hitting incline chest because I want that top shelf when I'm hitting my pose. So
Shelfie.
when I'm in those moments, that's where I set myself apart, because everyone's doing cardio. Everyone's training, everyone's hitting their meals, at least they should be, you know. But it's the mind and where you go mentally and how attentive you are in your preparation. And also you can set yourself apart doing little things like body work, stuff like that.
Like going the extra mile.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that, and I'm gonna go a little like spiritual. I think that when
Having God.
when God is
Yeah.
at the center of your prep,
Amen.
and you make your prep like bigger than you, like it's not like you open it up, like you open up the experience to not like, it's just not so self-centered, even though bodybuilding is a very like self-centered, selfish kind of sport. But when you open that narrative and like the vibe up to it's bigger than me, it not only gets like more fun, more fulfilling, more meaningful, but that aura and that vibe is caught by people that are watching you from the audience. That is caught from the judges, because it exudes out of you. And it's like, it's something that is like that unspeakable za, on stage, that is like something about her or something about him draws my attention. Yes, everybody looks great, like there's little 1% differences on stage physically that can set you apart. But generally, especially at the pro level, national level, everyone looks amazing. It's just like, what am I seeing? Why do I keep getting drawn back? And I truly believe stage presence, but it's God living through you, and people can see that. Like when I watch you on stage, I can see God.
Amen.
It's beautiful. And it also opens up, there's like this certain sort of vibe that a bodybuilder can get, where it's just like so fear of failure, so coming from lack, that it like that exudes out of you, and it kind of like manifests as like maybe like a little jealousy. Yeah, like it shows up, and it like the cortisol, everyone's gonna get a little bit of cortisol. I get so nervous on stage. But yeah, I think that when you are coming from love, and love for not only bodybuilding, but love for what you're doing and what you did and all that you went through, and you're praising God and you're glorifying God, it's just like a different look, and
it's an energy.
It's an energy. Yeah.
For sure. I agree.
Sets you apart.
And
I've had prep, like my first year of prep bodybuilding, I was not saved yet. Like I had not come to have a relationship with Jesus yet. And those preps were really, really hard. Like in the midst of hunger and pain, and you kind of only have yourself and your maybe support system to rely on, and like you're just like talking to like people and trying to get support and strength from people or yourself. And when you have God, that's a whole new level of strength that you get to tap into, and you get to like you get to pray and like, God, I'm so hungry, and I don't know if I could do this cardio session, and somehow, some way you do, just for me personally, my preps prior just felt different. But if you meant like when like bodybuilders versus average Joe, yeah,
everything.
Dude, it's It's the diet.
Yeah, for sure.
You got all serious.
Yeah, for sure.
100% it's the diet.
But the training too.
Like for me, I used to train. You know,
Yeah.
I've always trained really hard. For me, what has changed when I was an average Joe versus a bodybuilder is the diet. I was not tracking. I was restricting all day and then binging at night because for some reason I felt like I needed to be like comfortable when I ate, which is a whole other thing. I don't know. So I would just restrict all day long and then I would binge like 3,000 calories at night and I'd be like, well, I didn't eat all day, so like there's no way I'm not still in the deficit, you know, and it matters. Like those little things, like your meal timing, getting to sleep 8 hours at least every night, like those, you're just like dialed in, you're just locked in. But you can bodybuild and not step on stage.
Yeah,
and that's a whole other
lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a whole, because I love the 8 weeks out look. And then from 8 weeks out, there's a deep like dive that you go into that not everybody wants to do. But if you like that 8 weeks out look, like you can achieve that and not like ever step on stage and not get like, you know, super dry and peeled. And like that look, because I hate that look, but I love bodybuilding, you know what I'm saying? It's just a little different. But yeah.
I think you touched on it. I was going to say the intention. You know, for a bodybuilder, everything you do has purpose and the energy, you know, because for me, I know that X date, I won't say which date yet because I don't know when this is coming out, but that date is going to come up whether I like it or not. So
accountability.
So I can either show up prepared and freaking
for something you signed up for, right?
You know what I mean? So
what?
You're just so funny. Yeah, but I did sign up.
I'm like ad-libbing.
yeah, but I did. But that's the thing. Another thing, you did sign up for this. So, so the accountability part, you know, knowing that whether I like it or not, the show day is going to come, and I can either drop the ball or I can freaking hit it out of the park. So
the days will pass anyway. Mm-hmm. So might as well go all in.
That's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like ad-libbing again, but
it's all good.
Wait, last question. Do you like prepping with me?
I do. I do. Yeah,
same.
Because you know you get it, and it makes the groceries very easy, and watching each other eat. You know, even though I eat a little bit more, but.
Yeah. And I'm the bad influence. Like out of season or off season, I'm like, do you want a sweet treat tonight? And then he's like, yeah, but he would never like bring it up first, I don't think. Anyway, yeah, prepping with you is so nice. It's so great because
I'm glad you think so.
You know, you just look at each other where you're like, I don't got it. Like, let's not talk. It's just a look where it's like, I can't talk right now. And I've done it to you. And what's your response?
Okay, cool.
It's just,
right.
I got you. Like, see you. I'll talk to you in your span of 30 minutes that you feel good after your next meal. Like, yeah. But anyway,
thanks for watching.
That was fun.
That was dope.
Yeah, let us know if you guys have more questions. Put them in the comments, and we can do another one. Maybe it's like less bodybuilding focused and more like personal, or maybe you want more bodybuilding. I don't know. He wants to talk about bodybuilding, but
yeah, that's the only thing that gets.
He's like, don't ask me what my favorite color is.
Yeah, that's like because mentally, that's where I'm at now. Like nothing. It's just God, you, and bodybuilding at this point. Like that's all that's
nice
that I'm focused on. So please let it be bodybuilding, because if it's anything else, I won't have the same energy.
I believe this.
I'm like, I don't know why you care.
Dude, why is this relevant?
Yeah, like anyway.
Right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to us yap about bodybuilding.
Peace.